welcome back to Life Essentials, the Self Healer's Journey podcast. I am Bobby Benton, aka Serendipitously Bobby, and it has been a while. So, tonight is going to be a good show. My special guest is Miss Sabrina Banks, and I'm going to read you her bio real quick, and then we are going to get into it. Sabrina Banks, founder and chief executive director of Uplifted and Free, is an inspirational survivor speaker, advocate, mentor, certified life coach, and founder of and CEO of Life Uplifted and Free. She has played a huge role in the community and community engagements while also serving as a member of several organizations, including the NAACP and the Epilepsy Foundation of Michigan Diversity Council. She continues to bring awareness to the importance of mental health and gives hope to individuals who have been impacted by life's obstacles and traumatic experiences. She believes that being an advocate and motivational speaker is very important because words can be a powerful impact on anyone. So, welcome, Sabrina.
Thank you so
How
much.
are you?
I'm good.
So, um, this has been a talk long time coming.
Right?
So I want you. We just gonna jump into it because we don't have that much time, but because it's a lot. This is a. I am excited about your story.
Aw.
So let's just jump into it and just tell me, where did your journey to becoming uplifted and free actually begin?
You say my journey, where did it begin as far as becoming uplifted and free? First, I had to go to that low point. And when I say that low point, I mean like a dark space in my life that I was so dark, I didn't even realize I was in a dark spot. I thought it was normal. So we can talk about that part, or we can talk about me just being uplifted and free. Like, what you want to do then?
Touch a smidgy on just the your journey when life was lifing for you. Start there, and you ain't gotta go too deep, but start
Okay.
there, and then bring us full circle.
Okay.
A circle of life.
Circle of life, that part, yeah. So I'll say things started at a young age. I'll say around 13, 14. So, like you said, let's make it short. I was a 14-year-old runaway, dropped out of high school, and there tended to be a lot of verbal and physical abuse growing up. So I ran away from home only to run into the streets which caused a lot more trauma. So I had trauma growing up as well as when I became a teenager and a young adult. I later found out I was pregnant at 18, and so I went through it. I had my child. I went through a lot of domestic violent relationships as well as sexual assaults and human trafficking. After the last human trafficking, after the last sexual assault and betrayal that I had, and I was actually with somebody at that time. After me and him, we broke up because he literally almost killed me. So once we broke up, I decided to change my life around completely. Like, I deleted a lot of people out of my phone, a lot of numbers. I ended up changing my phone number, and that was like the beginning of my journey.
Okay.
Little did I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go into what has happened since then. So take us to there. You escaped your abuser.
Yeah.
And so so after that, you erased your phone, you did all that, and what was next?
So next was I started going to church. I went from partying and drinking and smoking all the time to going to church and more involved in the Bible and things like that. And I became a workaholic. So I was working several jobs. I was in school full-time, single mom, and trying to start a company. And then out of nowhere, I just started getting sick, like having anxiety and panic attacks. And so that's when I was forced to see a therapist. And I was like, my physician was like, you should see a therapist. I'm like, I'm not crazy. I'm not going to see no therapist, you know. But luckily, my husband, he convinced me to go. I was like, I'm going to try it, but that's it, you know. And that took me on the journey to me going to school to get my MSW to become a social worker therapist. So going to seek help was how the journey originally started. Seeking help, professional help, as well as being more in tune with my spiritual self and with God. You know, so that's how I got there.
So, with the seizures, explain your tell our audience what kind of seizures you have and how that affects you.
Okay. So I have psychogenic non-epileptic seizures. They're also called functional seizures. The difference is they're non-epileptic, and so usually a huge percentage of people that have those seizures is caused by trauma, some form of trauma. It may be complex trauma or something in that matter. So we have the same symptoms, not symptoms, I'm sorry, the same side effects or the same triggers rather, like flashy lights, things like that, getting too hot, you know, the same things. But we also have like flashbacks because a lot of people have PTSD with it, which is something that I have. I didn't know that I had the seizures at first because it started out as anxiety attacks and panic attacks. And then eventually, along with the panic attacks, I started having the non-epileptic seizures.
So, okay, y'all. Me and Sabrina was just chatting it up last night.
I know.
Probably far too long. We was on phone for what, 2 hours?
2 hours, yeah.
So, you shared with me last night about how you were treated with your seizures. Like, share that with our audience as well. Like, not everybody cared.
No, not everybody. And you say past tense, it's still current. A lot of people still, when these seizures was first introduced, they were called pseudo seizures.
Okay.
And so a lot of people got offended by that name, and so they changed the name to psychogenic non-epileptic seizures, functional seizures. There's several different names for it. And so, like, there's been times, I'll give you a perfect example. One time I was in the ambulance, I was going to Wayne State, and they was taking me to the hospital. I couldn't talk. I hadn't gotten out of the seizure all the way. And so I was trying to tell them that I felt another one coming, but I couldn't. So as they were taking me off of the truck, I started having another seizure. And the nurse was like, "What the F is she doing? She's faking an effing seizure." Those were her words verbatim. Well, I blotted out the words, but those were her words, you know. And so when I came in, you know, they saw my medication and everything. And they said, "Well, it says she's taking it for these seizures," you know. And I heard the guy say, "That don't mean anything," you know. And so, like, when I finally was able to talk, like my chest was still shaky and everything because my body was still weak. And so I was like, I wasn't faking a seizure. It's real seizures, and it's medical professionals like you that makes it bad for people. Like, I had to leave a review. Like, it's people like you that make people who deal with the seizures that I go through push themselves over to suicide because it's looked over, you know. And then there's a lot of people in the mental professional that are unaware of it. Like my psychiatrist, he laughed it off as well. He was like, "I can't treat seizures. You know, that's for a neurologist." But the neurologist switched me to a psychiatrist. And so I had to call the Epilepsy Foundation crying. And Rusty's no longer with the Epilepsy Foundation anymore, I don't think, but he was the one directing me to a neurologist who's also a psychiatrist that helps treat my seizures.
Okay, that right there is powerful because you said something, is medical professionals like you. When you get into the medical field, you're supposed to care about people.
Yeah, you're supposed to.
You're supposed to care.
Yeah.
And it's like, who are you to tell me I'm faking? You don't even know me. So that right there is disheartening. And you'll see that in all areas where you're supposed to help people. Social work, advocacy, all that. Re-victimizing victims, you know? So you're a victim of circumstance. So you didn't ask for that.
Right.
So explain, I want to go back to, you were saying, so your trauma, your PTSD triggers the seizures. So I know someone who, I'm glad you hear it, and I hope she watches. It sounds like.
I hope you're watching.
She knows who she is, and this sounds like what she goes through.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna connect y'all.
Yeah, I would love to. Okay.
Yeah, that light just went off. Like, thank you.
See how you were?
Yeah. So, before I took some notes because we said so much. Y'all, we was all over the place.
All over the place. All over.
It was two ADHDers chasing a squirrel. So, okay, so hold on. Okay, so with the seizures, when you ended up going to that psychiatrist, psychologist who can treat both, what happened after that? So you went to go see him, and then so people finally start believing you. Are you looking at yourself?
No. My sister at Calm.
Yeah, we got this new monitor in front of us. No, so after you met with him, like, what did you feel like? What did it feel like to be validated and heard? Like, what did it feel like to you?
It felt great. Actually, I originally seen the therapist there 1st, and then they told me I would see a neurologist.
Okay.
So when I met this neurologist, he asked me so many questions that I thought it was just for my brain, but he asked me detailed questions like, have you ever been through this? Have you ever been through this? Have you had any type of significant losses as far as family? And so it lasted for like 2 hours.
Oh.
And so when we were leaving, I was like, are you a neurologist or a psychiatrist? He was like, well, actually, I'm both.
Okay.
You know, so it made sense. So once I started going, seeing therapists, looking for another therapist, I just used what he had wrote down because he pretty much had a 2-page short autobiography about my life.
Oh, wow.
So it was like, to avoid the intake, it was like, here, look at this. But the last time I did that, it wasn't the best because the therapist was like, I was trying to find a new one because he now is head over the neurology department at the hospital he's at. And so I was looking for another therapist, and she was like, oh my God, no, really? And then she'll look up at me, and then she'll do like this. I was like, thanks for reminding me how messed up my life has been. Like, like can you show some type of control? Like,
yeah.
I understand empathy and everything, but not the sympathy part. I don't like it. I don't need that.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, this isn't going to work because it looked like I have to comfort you right now.
That part, that transference is real.
Yeah.
Wow. So she didn't work, and then after that, you shared
that I had multiple therapists.
You had multiple therapists, but you also were able to be part of organizations, the face of organizations, to speak on behalf of other people and for yourself. So share that journey.
So the speaking, I had one epilepsy foundation event. It may have been 2 that I actually spoke to as a person who deal with these kind of seizures. But the majority of my speaking engagements have been talking about my journey of overcoming the mental health stigma that's in the Black and brown communities, as well as human trafficking, because years ago that was something we didn't think of as we do now. We thought you had to be across country.
Yes.
So those are the type of things I mainly talk about: self-care, self-love, empowerment, and advocating for yourself and others. Because somebody has to be that voice.
Yes.
You know.
So we're doing the motivational speaking. We're going to therapy. We're getting on track with things. So have the seizures let up some for you?
I wouldn't say they have a mind of their own. They come and go.
Okay.
Like, I'll have a few months without them, and then there'll be sometimes they'll come a few days a week. Okay. You know, so it varies, which is kind of difficult. But one thing that I'm learning, that I have learned, is to accept that it's just accepted for right now.
Yeah.
But although I'm accepting it, I'm not letting it stop me.
Yes.
I continue to keep going. Like, yeah, I've had them everywhere, probably you could think of, but I continue to get up and do what I feel like God has as my purpose. You know.
So share too. We talked about the PTSD part of it, you know, is being partly a cause of this. So, um, explain to our audience about how um, about triggers and not even realizing you were being triggered, like, because that can cause it. You don't have a clue.
That's a good one. Yeah. I'll say one way of being triggered without realizing you're being triggered is actually something simple as just watching the news. Somebody can, you know, you may have been a victim of sexual assault or something, and you see that on television, a TV show, you know, a movie or something. That alone can trigger something. Sometimes it smells. Sometimes it may be a cologne or perfume or a smoke smell. You never know. Other times it can be sounds. Recently, it was a song that I remember crying to with that song on repeat. You know how you had the bad breakups.
Yep.
You had the songs on repeat.
Yep.
It wasn't a breakup. It was a traumatic experience, but I cried myself to sleep listening to that song on repeat. So now when I hear that song, usually it's not a trigger, but that day it caught me off guard, and it was a trigger. I didn't go into a full-blown seizure, but it came close. You know, other times it can just be me getting overly emotional, like at church. Like, you know, you be happy, you be down, like, thank you, Lord, you know, all of this, and excited, and it come out of nowhere. And other times it can be just delayed stress. It can be something that triggered you days ago, weeks ago, or hours ago that you thought that you may have moved forward from. And then later on that night, a seizure or a panic attack happened. But luckily, I'm able to go back and identify, like, what the triggers could have been, or me overexerting myself, pushing myself too far.
Yeah. So let's get into this, though. So you shared a story of self-care, and it was a very heartwarming story. So for you, self-care is very personal and enduring for you. So share your journey of self-care and why it impacts you even more probably than the average person.
Would you say the self-care when it came to...
Start when talk about your sister.
Okay.
That journey.
Right.
Yes. And don't cry.
I'm not gonna cry, right? I know, right? I wore my necklace just for her. Yes,
so she's here too.
She's here. Yes, I was like,
y'all don't cry.
Don't cry. You know, and you don't cry either, because if you cry, I'm gonna cry.
Because it was so like heartwarming and touching, like the love that you have for your sister, and just incorporating just a self-care routine in love was powerful. So share that story of your sister, how y'all came to be, and then just share that journey.
How we came to be?
How y'all came to be.
Okay. Yeah, so this sister, God rest her soul, Keela, she's my sister-in-love, or was my sister-in-love. She passed away. She passed away last year. So she said she will. Hey, Dominique. So the way we connected, she was overprotective of her brother, just like I'm overprotective of my siblings and everything. We actually connected through karaoke.
Okay.
She invited us over for New Year's, and we did 5 Heartbeats karaoke. That's how we connected. It was just like, oh, we cool. We locked in, you know. Of course, it grew. But me and her and one of my other sisters, we decided to start having like a sister day. Like every Tuesday was sister day. It was like, no matter what we got going on, like if we're going out to karaoke, if we're going out, right, rest in heaven, Keela, don't make me cry.
Jazz, stop.
So that's the other sister that used to go with us. So whether it was karaoke, whether we were going to one of our houses, whether we were just going to a bar or restaurant, what we did was we made sure that we dressed up and we showed out. Like we dressed up to remember, like, even though we have children at home and our significant others, like we still got to remember our identity. Still remember that we got it. You know? So we go out, have a few drinks, or have some good food, some good laughs. We'll vent, Or other days we would just be like, this day we're not gonna talk about none of our problems, or we're not gonna talk about we love the kids,
Yeah.
but we're not gonna talk about the kids today.
Kids, no, just I'm joking,
we just,
y'all. No.
we just gonna talk about us, and the good things that are coming to us, or the good things that has happened this week. And if we do direct ourselves to those things, we're gonna redirect ourselves. So it was a lot of laughter. It was a lot of tears as well. Tears of joy, tears of laughing too hard, but also, tears of sorrow. But we had each other, and we was a call away.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that share. So when her sister passed away, y'all, tell that part and how it affected you and where you're at today with that.
You're trying to make me cry. You're trying to make me cry because it's my sister that I lost, but I also lost, a brother as well. I lost my biological brother, and I lost my first cousin that was like my brother. But to lose Keela it was the first time I had somebody that was like my big sister. Even though she was short, it was my big sister, my little big sister.
Your feisty sister.
Yes, definitely. But it hurt, of course, like it would anybody. But I had my husband, and my husband had me. We had each other to support one another, And he said that he was happy that me and her had gained the relationship that we had gained, Till this day, it still hurts, And we used to celebrate our birthdays together because her birthday was it 2 days before mine. So we used to always try to do something together. And so this year it was definitely different. There wasn't no karaoke. We planned on doing karaoke, but I was like, you know what, it might be too much on the family. So we just gonna listen to music and just have a good time,
So do you and Jazz still get together on Tuesdays? Jazz, get her. Well, I'm looking at this screen. Jazz. Y'all need to get back together.
Yeah, it's funny because when you said it, when you first asked about it, I was going to say that to her, like, Jazz, we got to get back on it. But we both been saying that we're going to get back on it. So let's do it, sis.
Yes. And that's the sisterhood, having a group of friends or family that you can just be your authentic self with. To me, that's self-care. Like, what you guys did is important. It's the love. When you're around other people and their energy, that love is healing.
Absolutely.
So that sisterhood circle is powerful with self-healing. And that's why I wanted you to tell that part of it, because self-care is important and it looks different for everybody. It's not always just getting your hair and your nails done, but y'all's working on the inside.
Yeah. So yeah, we worked on the inside, and she would, there's some, like, we know each other capacity, as we were talking about.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get into that too.
Yeah. So yeah, we're adjusting, right? Because we was going to go back to the bar we used to go to all the time, and I was like, I can't do it. I know I'll break down crying, bringing up memories of her. But one thing that's different, like, one of my sisters is, she's more like, if she's going through something, she'd just rather be left alone. Me, on the other hand, I might say I want to be left alone, but some people, y'all can come on. I'm not inviting anybody over, for pop-ups or something like that. Talking about my siblings, But it was one time, I told her I was dealing with depression and everything, but I was going to get through it. And she was like, you want me to come over? I'm like, no, I don't want to bother you. She stayed right around the corner from us, the next block over. And about an hour later, I get a knock at the door. She's like, hey, I was just in the neighborhood. Just thought I'd stop by, brought some snacks, So we just sat and watched 5 Heartbeats. But, that kind of made my day. She just sat there with me for a minute. So it's little small things like that counts. But also, if somebody, somebody boundaries, when they say they rather be left alone, just, and they mean it, leave them alone.
Yep.
But she knew me, so,
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you allow her in your space at that time because that's what
Yeah.
you needed.
It is.
We're going to shift real quick and jump into that. We had talked about trauma dumping and friendships. And we were talking about giving people, like you said, space. And like, what did you ask me? What did you ask me? No, I'm trying to think. Oh, you asked me, what do you do when the person doesn't,
have the capacity. You want me to
Yeah.
finish it for you?
yeah,
What do you do when you call that person and they say they don't have the capacity to listen to you vent? Or
yeah.
I really don't like saying trauma dump, but that is what it can be to some people. So
Yeah.
I would just say vent.
So Nasha, are you watching? She's at her elder meeting, so I'm wondering if she got her earbuds in. That's my best friend.
Oh, okay.
So we were talking about, I called her and I was like, hey, we were just talking about appreciating each other and stuff, and how now it's like, do you have a capacity?
Mm-hmm.
And dang, Nasha, I hope you're paying attention because I want you to chime in and remind me what we said because it was so good. But if somebody comes to you and they want to vent, or that's what she said. Ask the person, do they want? This is just me and her saying.
Mm-hmm.
Ask the person, do they want to vent or do they want a response? Did you just want somebody to listen?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Or to
Me and my
respond?
sister do that.
Yeah.
Because we'll let each other know, like, do you want my true opinion or do you want to just vent right now? You know? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because some people are verbal processors and they just want to get it out. But when the person, you call your best friend and you say, hey, can we talk? And they say, I don't have it right now. You can tell your friend, this is why it's important to have more friends, not just that one, but safe spaces, safe friends. Your sister was Jazz, your safe space, your safe friend.
Yeah, and Jazz, that's my biological sister, but we still call each other best friends. Sister best friends.
Yeah, your sister normally your first best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's a whole nother story.
That's a whole nother story for another day.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we ain't talk about that. No. And we also talked about, so you had a very traumatic childhood. And we talked about sharing stories and waiting and things like that to share stories. And I agreed, and because I had my own. And so let's talk about that. For you not to share your story, share why you won't share your story right now.
Why you put me on blast? I share my story, but I share my story to a certain extent because I know that even though it's not
more friends, safe friends,
not best friends, just friends.
Jazz, safe friends.
No, but gosh, you listen. She made me lose my train of thought. What were we talking about?
About waiting to share your story. So you said you share some of it,
but I don't share a lot of it when it comes to the childhood part because my truth may hurt those that has something to do with my trauma. Because I'm just gonna say this because again, it's my truth. Like I probably shouldn't even be saying this much, but I would just say my family raised me the best way that they knew how. You know, so for me to say that I forgive them personally, you know, to myself internally, to say I forgive them for these experiences and these words that was told to me, and then like bring it back up to the world. You know, some things just need to be private.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't want all of the drama and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's definitely going to be in one of my books.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be in one of my books, but not in a bitter way.
Yeah, it's you
Not in a
sharing
bitter
your
way.
story.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So it's a quote out there that says, if you didn't want to be the villain in my story, you should have behaved better.
Ooh.
So I love that quote because there was a time on my journey, in my DV journey, that one of my abusers would get upset because I was talking about my story. But he was always the villain. Well, you shouldn't have did what you did.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I had to realize that those people that I was sharing with, I thought they were safe and they weren't.
Mm.
They was going back telling him everything I said. And I was like, I thought we was, but lessons
No.
learned.
Absolutely.
Lessons learned.
No, it's one thing to have like an abuser like that, like in DV and stuff like that. It's a whole nother role when you see somebody who didn't even realize that they were the villain, because they was just doing what they was raised doing.
Yep.
So it was like, how do you? I mean, I feel like they can tell now, like some people can tell because they realize how it impacted them. But then there's other people that's like in denial or won't even face it, won't even look back about it, or still play the victim role. So it's two different people. It's the ones that play the victim, it's the ones that act like they don't know, and it's the other ones that genuinely don't feel like they did anything wrong. And I just had to learn how to accept all three because, like she said, it takes grace.
Yeah.
I had to learn how to accept all three of those types because without it, then I will still be in that cycle myself.
Yeah.
So I had to learn how to let go.
Yeah. You would be a hostage to your pain.
And I was. I honestly was,
Yeah. And that's the thing, it just hurts because it's like you doing all this healing. So the victims are the ones that's going to therapy trying to get healing to help people that ain't even thinking about it.
I didn't even think. Oh, you said the victims.
Well, I'm gonna say people
Yeah.
who experienced the trauma.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted therapy because of the people who inflicted it, and they think they never gonna get it together. They don't see
Yeah.
they did anything wrong.
Yeah.
So.
And that was a thought going into the mental health field. One of my doubts that I had, because I'm an overthinker and a perfectionist and stuff like that. I'm working on it. But one of the things I thought about was, if I can't fix my family, how am I fix somebody else? But one of the key things in the field of social work is, or a therapist, period, you don't supposed to,
Fix.
First of all, you're not supposed to fix, absolutely.
Yeah.
But you can't, it's a conflict of interest if it's a friend or a family member because they won't listen to you as they would another professional. So that was the other thing. And you can't fix or help everybody.
Yep.
That's another huge thing that I had to learn, and I'm learning from other people as well.
Because some people like being broken. So people change pain. So people change because of pain for the most part. Pain is the catalyst of change for most people. But then you have those people who don't change because they're benefiting from it. And those are the people who play victim because they are martyrs because they can guilt their spouses or guilt their kids to do things. So those people, healing opens your eyes to see people for who they truly are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Healing, it does that. And once you learn how to set those boundaries, it definitely helps. Because imagine being around some of the same family members that hurt you. Like the reason why I'm a perfectionist and overthinker is because of the childhood trauma and stuff like that. You'll never be good enough. That was like one of the main things, that I always took away from it. But just being around those people still and knowing that they're not going to change, like they may say something or do something that may trigger me, but it's no longer, it doesn't affect me as it used to, because I'm like, this is just this person. That doesn't mean it's a good thing. That doesn't mean that what they're doing is right or is good, but it's just that person. I tried talking to that person. That person don't want to seek help. Like, they think everything is okay. So I'm gonna just have to let it be. I have to protect myself though.
Yep.
So I can't talk to you every day. I can't even talk to you on a weekly basis if I don't have the capacity to do so. But I love you. I love you dearly. But I can only love you from afar.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. And sometimes the people who hurt us most are the ones who should have been loving us the most. And it's hard to sometimes tell those people no. But when you get strong enough, you know, it's doable, because I experienced the same thing. You know, so that's why we was on the phone so long.
It takes time though. It takes time. It is not something that will happen over. Yes, real healing is painful.
Yep.
And one thing that I learned the hard way is the hardest person to forgive is yourself.
Yep.
Now that alone was a long journey. Like the guilt tripping, like, well, if I wouldn't have been at this place, or if I wouldn't have been so nice, you know, or if I would, it was a whole cycle. And I had to realize, like, hey, it's not my fault. This person, it's not my fault this person was a molester. It's not my fault this person was an abuser. You know, but at the same time, still taking accountability for the realistic parts that I did play a part in.
Yep.
You know, and that takes a lot.
Yeah.
You know, it takes a lot.
Yeah, accountability is a big thing. Like with domestic violence, I tell people if they don't want to stay. So me and you talked about being a victim, being a survivor, being a thriver.
Absolutely.
If you don't want to stay in victim mode, you got to take accountability. And that's how you get to the survivor, because now the survivor is, okay, I'm being accountable, I'm looking at everything, I'm working through it. The thriver is like, whew, I got it.
Yeah.
You know, I may have them days I fall backwards, but whew, I got it.
Absolutely.
I'm not there anymore.
Yes.
You know, so this accountability, and I'm glad you said that, because people need to hear that. You know, you gotta, y'all here to be accountable. So
Hold yourself accountable, but don't beat yourself up.
yeah, don't.
Yeah. Another thing about being a survivor is the acceptance part.
Yep.
Accepting what happened to you. You know, that's a huge part. And it's kind of all, I would say, kind of in the same category when it comes to like grief. You know, the process of grief, the different phases and everything. You know, but it's still that part of accepting it and then learning how to live through it. So a lot of people think grief is just, you know, losing a loved one, but you can grieve over, you know, a certain situation, a loss of a job, a loss of a position, a loss of a, you know, a breakup, a spouse or something like that, you know. And with me, it was losing my ability to work and go to school and drive and things like that for a minute, you know. So it varies. I just thought I would put that out there.
No, but
because I didn't know. My therapist I'm with now, she told me, she was like, so you've been grieving? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I didn't even tell you about my brother yet. What do you? And once I was like, can you go more into detail about what grief is? And once she did, I was like, so I've been grieving for 7 years. So
you lost your freedom, a part of you.
Yeah, a big part of me, because independence was my thing. All the independent songs was my anthems. Like, I had a whole playlist, no lie. Like, God just had to humble me, I guess, because I did literally have a playlist of independent songs.
Well, I say he humbled and healed.
Absolutely.
And healed. Yes, through
Definitely.
that humbling, he healed. So what I'd like to also jump into now is, so you have, because it's 7:41.
I went by quick.
I told you.
You did. You did.
It's like us talking on the road.
Yes.
So you have some things going on in your life that are so wonderful. I'd like you to share.
Okay, great. So I have a upcoming interview with a podcast. Gosh, I should.
Can you pop that flyer up? There you go.
There I am. Imagine Better podcast. You guys can check him out. He's a really awesome guy. And I also have a documentary restoration. So would you like me to?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So Take Back the Night was my very first speech at Take Back the Night, Wayne State. And to make it short, since it's 7:41, 7:42 now, it talks about my life from going from the victim to surviving to thriving or where I am now. But with this documentary, it also shows different perspectives from my father, from my husband, from my mother's standpoint. So, and it shows how to heal, how you can overcome these obstacles after dealing with sexual assault or any kind of assault. It's very encouraging. Although, we're talking about sexual assault, we go back to my past. We go back to the house that I originally stayed at as a runaway. It's really deep. And I just found out today that we got to go on it. So there will be, thank you so much. There will be a screening soon. I have to convert the meeting soon. Got to set up a meeting to set up a date for the screening, but it will definitely be on my website. You guys can check out my website at www.upliftedandfree.com.
Is that, do you have that information? Oh, there it is. All your social media.
Yeah, those are my socials, and my website is the same, upliftedandfree.com.
So real quick, go back to how you started with even getting picked for a documentary.
We don't got that much time. So
Girl talk.
Okay. If you insist. So I did Take Back the Night, and I did Take Back the Night Wayne State, and I did Take Back the Night Detroit, and my dad was at the one for Wayne State. And so a young lady named Gudrun, she's from Germany. I hope you're watching, Gudrun. I love you.
Hi, Gudrun.
She's from Germany. They came to Detroit to do a documentary based on the city of Detroit. They pulled over, and it just so happened they pulled over to put their address in the GPS system. And it was my dad's shop where they pulled up at. So here come my dad walking. Just imagine, you white, you from Germany, you from a whole nother country, and this black man is walking up full of dirt on his face, oil, or it looks like dirt, in his work clothes, like, hey, can I help you? Normally somebody would just pull off. I would have pulled off. But they started talking to my dad, and he was like, if you really want to do a good documentary, you need to do it on my daughter. That's what you want to do a good one. And so we set up a meeting. I told him like a brief snippet of a few things that I had been through, and that was a Monday. And they was like, are you able to start filming by Wednesday? And I was like, well, I'll have to think about it. I have to pray about it. I don't know how the documentary, how that film stuff works, so I'll have to look into it. I'm talking about film stuff. But yeah, I prayed about it and everything, and God told me that it would be a blessing. So there is a part in the film where, and it's on the trailer, a part that we actually go into the home. That wasn't part of the plan. The plan was just to have a scene standing outside of the home. And the cameraman, Bern, he was like, do you want to go inside? And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll go inside. And so when I went inside, it was a breakthrough for me because I began the praying part. That's not in the documentary because that's private, but I just began praying and releasing that, like, this no longer has a hold on me. This home no longer has a hold on me, And so with that documentary, so many things came about. Like, she had breakthroughs. It was a lot of crying and everything, but it was like empowering at the same time. Even when I go back and watch it today, it's really empowering. Like, it's not just for survivors. I speak a lot about advocacy and stuff, but it's also for people who may know someone who is a survivor, how to help them. And it's okay if you feel feelings of guilt and things like that. You can overcome it,
Girl, it's so powerful. Talk about, real quick for me, it's okay not to be okay.
It's self-explanatory. When there's a lot of people that try to stay strong, or try to put on this face, this mask. I'm okay. Yeah. I'm good, And I'll give you a story about my friend I told you about. We promised, like, when we call each other, she's somebody that she's an advocate and an activist, and she's really big in the community. She does a lot for the community. We promise each other, you know, when you hear somebody say, "Hey, how you doing?" Or "I'm good. How you doing?" It's just normal.
Yeah.
It's just a normal like conversation. But I know, how are you really doing?
Yeah.
You know, and it's that part. It's like, we'll be honest. Like, she'd be like, "You say you good, but don't forget the promise we made." And I'd be like, "Girl, I'm over here struggling." You know, because we have people that look up to us.
Yep.
The people that see us always with a smile, but they don't see the down parts.
Yeah.
But one thing I had to learn, especially with the seizures, having the seizures like in public, like having them at church or at school or at a job or something, having these, you know, my pride was in the way. But I had to realize, hey, like, I'm human.
Yeah.
You know, like my doctor told me, she was like, "You're not Superwoman." I'm like, "Yes, I am. I got it tatted on me now." I'm like, but no, I'm not Superwoman. And it's okay to say, hey, I need a day. I need a day to just focus just on me. Because if I'm not okay, I can't take care of my son in the full capacity that I want to. I can't do my job, my business, run my business like I want to. I can't help my sisters or my siblings or my husband the way that I want to in the full capacity because I'm not completely there. So I love the fact that my husband is so supportive, and if anything, he'd be the one telling me, "Sit down, don't worry about it, I got it," you know. But another story, but it's okay to just rest and tell somebody that it's okay. You know, like, I'm not okay right now, but I will be. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's okay not to be okay, but it's not okay to stay stuck or keep throwing things under the rug until it constantly grows.
Yep.
And then next thing you know, it's too late.
Yep. Stuffing it.
Yeah, like you said yesterday, I'm stuffing it. Right.
And that's what we do. So, guys, we're going to, if you have any questions or you want to make any comments, go ahead and we'll check the chat. Let me go. Hey, Dominique.
Let's just do a special shout out to Dominique for connecting us in the first place, okay? Thank you, Dominique.
Yes, thank you.
Prime Project Queen, okay?
Did anybody have any questions or? Okay, well, keep talking.
We keep talking.
So, uplifted and free. So, what all do you do with your organization with Uplifted and Free?
With my organization, I'm a certified life coach.
Okay.
I was doing life coaching for a second. I'm not taking clients at the moment, but was doing life coaching, advocating for people with who have non-epileptic seizures and epileptic seizures. As you know, I'm a survivor. I speak a lot about surviving the different relationships that I've been in and overcoming depression, trauma-informed care, self-empowerment, self-love, self-care. That's a huge part of it, and bringing mental health awareness to the Black and Brown communities. Because as you know, like a lot of Black and Brown communities, we don't want to go seek treatment. You know, like I said, I was like, I know I'm not crazy. You don't have to be crazy to see a therapist, okay?
You crazy because you ain't seeing a therapist.
And it's okay to be crazy. Just seek help.
Yeah.
Just seek help. But I also sell bracelets. It started as something therapeutic for me to do, like beaded bracelets. And then after a while, I had a lot, and I was like, you know what? Why not just make this a business? So it's therapeutic. So if you see me at a vendor event, a pop-up shop or something like that, or I'll probably eventually have it on my website, but I make bracelets. So if you guys
Are those your bracelets?
Yes, they are.
Let me see. I
This
Those are nice.
Glass, girl. And this one is labradorite. I didn't make this one though, but I just still love this one. I connected with it. But yeah, so I make beaded bracelets, and so just know when you purchase a bracelet, you're also supporting a survivor. And so that it works for my good because it's therapeutic, and I'm also helping others. So I was doing outreach, like helping with homeless bags and stuff like that. I got to get back to that. We'll be doing that again, like hygiene products and stuff, because I was homeless before, so I know how it is, like, to have to panhandle and then go buy these things and wash up at a restaurant or something like that. I dealt with that. So reaching out, like, with the hygiene products and stuff like that is something I want to go back to. Yeah.
Yeah. See, you about to have me ask more questions.
It's okay. It's okay. I got the time, but I know
So,
respect other people's time.
yeah, I respect Mr. Producer Man's time. But when you, I just gotta say, you talked about being homeless. It just, you said I would rather sleep on a bench than go home. That hit my, I don't think you knew on the other side of the phone. I was like, oh my God, like the level of trauma to, like you said, I gave up clothes, food, shoot, everything because you wanted peace.
Yeah, I wanted peace, and I also wanted to prove them wrong. I wanted to prove that I can and I will do this, you know.
And look at you now.
Look at me now, and not in a bragging way. It's all glory to God. It's all glory to Him.
No, that's in a confident, I know what I'm doing. I got this kind of
I got
way.
this. I got this. Absolutely.
Yeah, and so a lot of times when people who have been through trauma or aren't heard so many negative things about themselves, to talk about themselves doing good, they like, oh, I'm bragging. But no, these are wonderful accomplishments. You have come so far, girl.
Yeah.
Talk about yourself, because they don't know the hell you went through to get to be the person you are today. So you ain't bragging.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Girl, your accolades, shoot. I had Dr. La Teresa Jefferson on my show, and she said for so long people didn't even know that she had her doctorate degree.
Really?
But she didn't talk about it because she didn't want to sound like she was bragging.
Oh, I've been flexing that boy. Doctor. Everything was going to say doctor, you know.
But she had, if you ever get a chance, go back and I'll send you the link to her.
Yeah, please do. Please do.
And but you can hear how she worked through that. But she wasn't bragging, but she didn't want people to look at her like in a negative light. But people who get upset or always got talking shit because somebody else talking about what good they're doing, sometimes that's jealousy.
Yeah.
So you gotta listen to, like, take it with a grain of salt. Like, who is saying these things? Do they matter?
Because see, when I got my I don't know. I don't think we had a chance to talk about it, but I was a high school dropout. Oh yeah, I did say that.
You told me. Okay.
Yes, I was a high school dropout. But I later got my GED, my associates, my bachelor's, and now I'm going for my master's. I didn't realize till like the last semester that I was going to be the first college graduate or the first person in my family to have a 4-year college degree. As far as like, you know, my parents and siblings and stuff like that, and my aunts and uncles. So that was like a huge thing. It kind of put more pressure on me a little bit, but it was like, I remembered that the original reason why I was doing this is because I wanted to be a therapist. I knew that that was my purpose, to help other people and to speak about it. But it was also breaking that barrier with my son. Like, hey, the GED or a diploma, no, you can go for more than that. You can aim for higher than just a GED or diploma. You will. Start your own company, you know, invest in some things. So it was like, and I have a couple pictures where I'm passing him the little roll the graduation little roll, I'm passing it to him. It's like, it's your turn now. So I'm happy to say he will be graduating this year. Well, he's a senior this year.
Oh, sweet.
Yes.
See, you spoke life into your son. You like broke so many generational curses for your family.
That was the whole point. That was the goal. I wanted him to grow up in a house with encouragement, with knowing like it's okay if you make mistakes. It's okay to express your emotions, but express it in a healthy way.
Yeah.
It's okay to have, you know, to be yourself, but show discipline.
Yeah.
You know, and so he sees that. It took him. I didn't tell him my story until recently because I wanted to protect him and everything. But He's doing good. I'm proud of him.
Yeah. So a man that's raised in love turns out totally different than a man that was raised in survival.
That part, absolutely. You can definitely tell the difference.
Yeah.
Because my husband was raised in love. Okay, and you can tell the difference.
That's the question that a lot of people need to ask their partners. Was you raised in survival or was you raised in love? And I don't give a shit about what your favorite color is. I want to know, did you get was your parents beating on you? I want to know, do you like your mama? I want to know.
And those are good questions because, like, how somebody treat their mother shows a lot about how they're gonna treat you.
Yeah.
That's what I was told and taught and realized.
That's what I see. It's true.
It's true, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. These men who out here that have disdain for women, they don't like their mothers, or they have the kind of mother that they're enmeshed with, and it's a toxic.
Oh, you talking about the mama boys?
The mama's boys, my done robbed the bank right in her face, but not my baby. You know, those kind of relationships.
Yeah.
And those kind of mothers create narcissists. So that's I'm gonna say that some narcs. I call them narcs. Some narcs.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because I was like, I didn't know what you meant yesterday on the phone.
I'm like, he narky, you know.
That's a good one though.
Yeah. So some are born, and some are created. And you have people that don't realize people don't normally with narcissistic personality disorder. It's a cluster B personality disorder. So a lot of people they will never acknowledge it because that's the way the narc's brain works. Like, not me, I'm perfect as everybody else.
And that goes back to what I was saying about how some people, you know, they realize it, and some people think that they're just perfectly fine, not realizing that they narcs, as you call it.
Yeah, because to acknowledge it is wounding their ego, and because of whatever childhood trauma they had, they can't get past it. Some people are so broken from their traumas from their childhood, they cannot get past it, and then that's where we get the personality disorders from. And
then they refuse to seek help.
And they refuse to seek help, and they self-medicate, and they inflict their pain. Hurt people. You know? So it's so many layers and depths to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's something we can definitely go on for.
Yeah, we can do another show.
Right?
So everybody laughs at me because I'm always talking about narcissists, but narcissistic abuse is real. I have suffered it my whole life. I'm a narcissist magnet. And most people who are like us are. And that's something I had to work through with my healing journey. And people always, I ain't talking about narcissists until you walk a mile in my shoes. Shut the fuck up. That's what I say.
See, I just turned away. Look, tell me.
No, seriously, because people like to talk or say things. You have not experienced it, and I may not look like what I've been through, but I've been through a lot. So if I want to talk about narcissists all day, every day, that's what I'm gonna do.
That's what we were talking about. Like, you know, people be like, oh, I would have never thought, you know, like how, you know, I'll tell a Lyft driver quick, like, listen, because, you know, I'm a survivor of human trafficking, you know, but, you know, they're like, kind of like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, you know, but I'm just glad that God pulled me through and God gave me the ability to be able to talk about it openly and in a healthy way, you know.
Yeah, and you don't look like what you've been through.
Thank God.
Yeah, because and when people say that, so some people when they're healing or going, some people are self-medicating.
And I did that too. That's what
to the extreme.
Yeah, right. I know there's like the substance abuse aspect and things like that, but people don't know that they can self-medicate in a way and not realize it. Like I found out when I was working all those jobs, when I was working at 2 jobs and going to school for a time and trying to start this business and all that, I had replaced that from the partying and the drinking and all of that all the time. I replaced it with these productive things. But people don't know, like, being a workaholic can be an unhealthy coping mechanism, so you won't have to face you know, the trauma and the things that you've been through.
Mhm.
So when COVID came, I know we gotta go, Mr. Producer.
Sorry, Sante.
When COVID came, a lot of people had to face it. A lot of
Yes.
people were stuck, you know, in the house, so they couldn't do anything but think,
Mhm.
you know. And to me, I was like, well, welcome to my world, because I've been on, you know, bed rest forever. So,
Mhm.
but it was a good thing that people was they faced it and overcame it. A lot of people, anyway.
Yeah.
You know.
So I there's it's so many layers. I could go into that, but yeah. But that I like you said that. I just told my friends, I can't go bike riding with y'all. I was supposed to go bike riding
Today?
Saturday
Okay.
with my friends, but I have chores to do because I'm one of
Right.
those people. I will do everything else. I will fill up my weekends with activities just so I don't have to.
That's the ADHD. 'Cause,
I don't
yeah,
have to clean up.
it's like that with my papers. I'm not gonna lie. I will be on a paper, but instead of doing that paper, I will wash the dishes. I will clean the baseboards. I will.
Yep.
I'd be like, let me get to this paper. You know.
Yeah. So I had to tell them, I can't go because my son has been helping me. So I need a body doubler because I be all over the place.
Are you familiar with body doubling? I can be your body doubler. Well, I gotta look at my schedule first.
So my kids are good body doublers for me.
That's good.
So my daughter normally is my body doubler because she don't talk about me. Then my son, if he this time he wasn't talking smack.
Okay.
But normally he like, you don't need that, you just a hoarder, you know, talking smack.
That's boys for you.
Yes, but my daughter, when I'm cleaning, because I'll lose something, I done bought the same thing 10 times, and then by the time we done cleaned up and I done found it, it's a big pile of 10 things, and then I'm like, here. So she leave with a bag of stuff. Her friend came over the other day, she left with a bag of
Oh yeah, I need to be your body double with your daughter then. Yeah, boxes of brand new
told her
stuff.
friend, she like, every time I go to my mama's house, I leave with a bag of good stuff.
That's so funny.
Yes, so, but yeah, a lot of people don't know about body doubling because it's like that terminology.
Yeah, I was
is new.
surprised that you knew about it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, with my clients, when the parents are having trouble getting their kids to clean up and stuff, I said go and just quit yelling at them and telling them to clean. Just go in a room with them. You can just sit on the bed and talk to them. And
That's what my sister used to like to do. She asked me to just come over just so she would clean, you know. She just asked me to come over just to be there with her. But it was before we knew what body doubling was.
Yeah. Best thing since sliced bread. But yeah. Okay, so guys, anything, nothing else in the chat? Okay. So we are going to end for tonight, but Sabrina, thank you so much. This was a good
Thank
talk.
you for having me.
This was
This
wonderful.
fun.
Yes.
This was fun.
I gotta make sure that I set my alarm in my calendar so I don't miss you on the other show.
Yeah, so there's one September 25th, Mark, Imagine Better. I also have one that's going to be October 4th.
Okay.
But I would definitely keep you posted. I'll give you the flyers and it'll be shared on my social media and websites and everything.
Okay.
And then the screening, I'm not sure when. It may be October, but I'm not sure. But I'll definitely keep you updated.
Okay, and I'll advertise it on my show. You know, if you want me to.
Okay. And October 1st, I have an inspirational interview with Total Entertainment Radio.
Okay.
So it'll be October 1st.
If you send me the information, I don't mind. So that's one thing I do. I just share, you know, if my guest got something, I'm going to share it. Yeah, so just send it. And we'll get it out there.
I will.
Because I have no clue how many people watch my show, but somebody will
shared it to
listen.
so many people. There's people watching or will watch. You know, I even told my classmates today, you know, so...
Y'all out there, classmates? No. Okay, so Sabrina, let's tell everyone good night.
Good night.
Good night. I ain't want to keep going.